Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and now here I am with my first video of the new year and the new decade. Yeah, and so for this video, I figured what I would do for this video is this is just something that I've been thinking about ever since I did my last video. Because in my last video, the New Year video, I told you guys that one of the things that I had really done through the through last year is I've just kind of been collecting all a bunch of classic game consoles. Like if you saw my last video, I just showed you all the game systems I've gotten over the last year, even over a year. Because yeah, in September of 2018, I did get that the PlayStation 1, as I showed you guys before. And yeah, and in my last video, I just told you everything else that I've been getting over the years. Well, yeah, over the year, yeah, I've gotten a Nintendo 64, a Super Nintendo, a Sega Genesis, an original Nintendo, a PlayStation 2, and an Xbox. And I also do have a GameCube and a PlayStation 4 that I have actually had both for a while. As I said in my last video, I've had the GameCube for close to I think even over 15 years now. And I've had the PlayStation 4 for a few years as well. Yeah, and something else I forgot to mention that I have gotten this year as a game system. I also did get a Game Boy Advance last year. Over the year, yeah, I also did get this as well, and as you can see, it is even the Toys R Us edition one. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that it was actually a Toys R Us version of the Game Boy Advance. But yeah, I also did get this past year as well. So yeah, this just adds to it. I mean, yeah, the Game Boy is just, of course, it's the most popular handheld gaming device ever. And yeah, I'm just glad that I do have a Game Boy Advance, because yeah, when this first came out, back in was it 2001 or 2002? Yeah, I actually didn't get to actually own this. All I really had was just my brother's Game Boy Color. But yeah, we never were able to actually get a Game Boy Advance, but now I am glad that I do actually own a Game Boy Advance now. So yeah, I am glad to have this. And yeah, so this is something else that I have gotten along with all the consoles that I have gotten this past year and even beyond that. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, getting back to the subject, yeah. And so, yeah, since I did show you guys just that I have gotten just a bunch of consoles over more than the last year, yeah, I figured what I would do is just I would just kind of share with you guys all the games that I have really just that I've gotten for all these systems so far. Or because of course a bunch of games were released on all of these systems. So I mean, just yeah, and with just over the last year and beyond, all these games that I have been able to get for all these systems, of course, because what's the use of having these consoles if there are no games to play on them, right? Yeah, so yeah, just over the last year and yeah, even over a year, I've just been getting a whole bunch of games from that game store for all these systems I've been getting, and I figured I would just kind of share you guys all of the games I have gotten from that store for all these systems I have. So yeah, I guess this is just going to be called video game collection, where I'm just going to be sharing with you guys all the games I've gotten. So yeah, this is probably just going to be the first part of this. I may break this down to a few parts because because with all the systems that I have, I mean, and I have gotten quite a few games for a lot of these systems. Yeah, it would be quite a while if I were to just be showing you guys all the games I have in one video. I mean, the video would probably be over an hour. And so yeah, and I know you guys probably don't want to watch an hour plus long video. So yeah, I'll probably will make this down into a few parts where I will just show games for a few of the systems I have and just break it down into a few videos. So yeah, I may do the first part, which is this one, I'll share the games I have for 3 of the systems, and then the next one I'll do it for another 3, and then and the third one for another 3. So yeah, that's how I'll be breaking this down. I'll just do 3, 3, and 3 for each video. So yeah, this will probably be a 3-part video, and yeah, and I'll probably just I may not actually do the second part tonight. I may wait till tomorrow or the next day or whenever to like continue on with this. But yeah, it's not going to be like, I'm not going to do like all 3 parts in one night. So yeah, this is just going to be part 1 of my video game collection. So yeah, and for this part, like what this is going to be for is I'll be sharing with you guys like the NES, the Super Nintendo, and the Sega Genesis games that I have. So yeah, this will be part 1. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis. Yeah, okay, so... Oh, yeah, alright, so, yeah, I'm already like 5 minutes in this video, and I pretty much already told you guys, like, how this is going to work, so, yeah, let me just get started. So, I'll start off with the NES games I have so far. So, yeah, starting off, of course, like I do have, the Super Mario Brothers trilogy for the NES. Yeah, I mean, of course, like, Nintendo and Mario, just, like, who can even, like, go without these games for any Nintendo system? I mean, who can go without Mario? So yeah, I have like the Super or Mario Brothers trilogy for the NES. So yeah, the original Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, and Super Mario Brothers 3. Yeah, so yeah, and yeah, I even got like the original Super Mario Brothers like back when I did first get the Nintendo earlier this past year. Yeah, I mean, yeah, when I got the Nintendo, like, I actually did want, like, the combo cartridge of Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, which was, like, which was the cartridge that was, like, originally shipped with the NES back when it was originally released, yeah. But when I did get the Nintendo one, when I wanted to get Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, I was told there that apparently Duck Hunt doesn't work on, like, the flat screen TVs, which kind of does, suck, yeah. So, yeah, it kind of sucks I won't be able to actually, ever get Duck Hunt and play it. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But I mean, at least, yeah, I still got like this one, which is of course like the better game of the 2. Yeah. And I have the sequels as well. So I mean, I can't really complain much. So yeah, I do have like the Super Mario Brothers trilogy right here. Yeah. And then I also do have The Legend of Zelda, as well as its sequel, Zelda 2 Adventure of Link. Yeah, I just got this one today. Yeah. Yeah, and of course, like, Legend of Zelda, it's another game series that, like, Nintendo owners can't go without, so, yeah, and I am glad that I actually do have the 2 originals right here. Well, yeah, the first 2 of the series, I guess I should say. So, yeah, and plus, I think it's interesting that these cartridges are actually gold instead of, like, the regular gray, yeah, and plus, also, like, of course, like, these are, like, contained with, like, battery saves, because, yeah, it even, like, says, like, on the back of both the cartridges, it has the caution with the game pack contains batteries and stuff. So, well, yeah, and I think it is pretty cool that these are actually gold cartridges instead of the regular gray ones. So, yeah, I think that's pretty cool, and I am glad that I do have Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I also do have a Donkey Kong. I have, like, this one, Donkey Kong Classics, which has, like, the original NES Donkey Kong game, and Donkey Kong Jr., and I also do have, Donkey Kong 3. So, yeah, I also have the Donkey Kong series for the NES, yeah. Though, yeah, something that I've been kind of wondering, because I'm not really, like, a full-on NES expert. For all of you out there that are, like, familiar with the NES and really do know, like, all the games that were released on there, yeah, was there, like, an actual, like, Donkey Kong 2 game release for the NES? Because, yeah, I haven't been able to find one anywhere, but yeah, I don't know if, like, Donkey Kong Jr. itself is, like, the actual Donkey Kong 2 for the NES, or if it is actually, like, there is actually, like, a game, like, with the Donkey Kong 2 title on it. So if any of you do know that, just comment on my channel and let me know, because I'm really uncertain about it. But yeah, but regardless, yeah, I do have, like, 3 Donkey Kong games. Yeah, the Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong 3. So yeah. And another one I do have, I have a Metroid right here. Yeah, I mean, this is another one, just what NES owner can go without this. Yeah, I've just, like, really been loading up on a lot of the NES classics. So yeah, I'm with the Mario Brothers trilogy, Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong, and Metroid. So, yeah, I'm just really glad to be, like, loading up on, like, all the classics that like, all of Nintendo's famous mascots started off on, you know? Yeah, and I also do have a Pac-Man. And for the NES, yeah, I mean, just Pac-Man. I mean, what gamer in general can really go without Pac-Man? I mean, Pac-Man is, like, one of the most popular game series of all time. So, yeah. So, I am glad that I do own a Pac-Man for the NES as well. Yeah. And then the last NES game that I own so far is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. Yeah. I mean, I've actually been looking for like a few Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games for a while now. Like, been looking for like the arcade game and the Hyperstone Heist for the Sega Genesis. Yeah, I have actually found the Hyperstone Heist game, but yeah, it's like really pricey. It's like one of the more valuable Genesis games. Like, I found it for like $50 just like with the cartridge itself, and actually, like inside of the case and everything, it's like over $100. So it is like one of the more valuable Genesis games out there. So damn, but yeah, it is something that I really do want, but I really haven't been able to actually get it yet. But I really am hoping that I do get that someday. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. As of right now, so far, yeah, those are all the original Nintendo games that I have so far. Yeah, so as of right now, yeah, that is like all of the games I do have for the Nintendo Entertainment System so far. I mean, yeah, there are still like some games I was to like get like a Punch Out, of course, and Mega Man 2, and yeah, some other games like that. Like, I'm not really like fully certain on like how many like classic games are. Well, yeah, all the great classics for the NES there are. So yeah, if you have any suggestions for some NES games I should get, comment it on my channel and tell me what other games you think I should get for the NES. All right. Okay, so that's the original Nintendo Entertainment System. All right, now let me move on to the games I have for the Super Nintendo so far. All right. So starting off, I've got Super Mario World. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just once again, I mean, what Super Nintendo owner can really go without this game? Yeah, of course, like this game was Yoshi's first ever appearance, so yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, and I do like this game overall. Yeah. And another classic, of course, I have to own, Super Mario Kart. I mean, the very first Mario Kart game ever. So yeah, and I am glad I do have this game as well. Yeah. Yeah. I also do have Star Fox for Super Nintendo. I mean, yeah, this is a classic too. I mean, what yeah, I mean, Super Nintendo owners have to own this game as well, right? Yeah. Yeah, and continuing, I also do have the Toy Story game for Super Nintendo. Yeah, I mean, I actually do like own the Toy Story game for both Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo because I wanted to like get them because I really didn't grow up during the generation of gaming with the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, so yeah, I wanted to get both games for like Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo to kind of just like compare and contrast, see like what really did what better, and like which version really was the superior one. So but yeah, I do own it on Super Nintendo. So yeah. And I also do have the Lion King game for Super Nintendo. This is another one that I actually do own on Sega Genesis as well. Yeah, this was another one I want to compare and contrast. Also, I mean, it's just kind of something I've been getting into for a while now. Like since I've got like multiple systems from like several different generations of gaming, I wanted to like get like games that were released on multi-platforms and just kind of compare and contrast. So yeah, it's not really just with the Toy Story. I've been doing it for like some other games as well. But yeah, the Lion King on a Super Nintendo, I have that as well. Yeah. And seriously, I'm sure just about all you know, like the second level of this game, it is like the biggest pain in the ass ever. So, gosh, it's just so freaking frustrating. Yeah, if you play the game, you probably do know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But yeah, moving on. I also do have the Incredible Hulk on Super Nintendo, which that was pretty cool. Well, yeah. And I also do have Batman Forever on Super Nintendo. I know this game was also released on Sega Genesis. I don't actually own it on Sega Genesis. Yet I may get it because yeah, in this game of Batman, he is like kind of like violent. He's like fighting a bunch of people. But yeah, I don't know if on the Sega Genesis version it's more violent, like if there's blood or anything. Because I do know, like, of course, like with games that were released for like Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, certain ones did suffer from censorship. I don't know if this is another one. I haven't actually played the Sega Genesis version. I may get that and check it out, but. Yeah, I do think that this is a pretty cool game. Yeah, I mean, I did like the movie, so yeah, I think that it is a cool game to have. Yeah, and I also do have Bart's Nightmare. Yeah, I mean, of course, like Nostalgia Critic did a Let's Play in this video, and this game just pissed him off. But yeah, I wanted to get it for myself to just kind of check it out, see if it really was as bad as he was making it out to be, or if maybe he was just overreacting about it. And yeah, this game, it is like kind of a hard game, and it can get like kind of aggravating. And yeah, but I do like kind of like enjoy it. Like I do think that it is like there's some creativity put into it. At least I mean, it's a hard game, and yeah, it is pretty frustrating. But it is like still, it does have a creative concept to it. So yeah. And then I also have the Super Star Wars trilogy for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, Super Star Wars, Super Empire Strikes Back, and Super Return of the Jedi. I mean, yeah, because yeah, of course, like now we have like a whole trend of like all these popular Star Wars games out there, including like the new one, Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, which I haven't really been too big on. Like a lot of these new the Star Wars games that have been released like in the last like 10-15 years. But yeah, I do like some of the older ones that were like released on like the N64 and the PlayStation and stuff. But yeah, and I wanted to get these games to check them out. And yeah, they are like they are like pretty fun games overall. I mean, I watch Angry Video Game nerd review of like some older Star Wars games, and yeah, he did talk about these games, and he did say like they were kind of hard, which they are. Yeah, like I played them, and yeah, they do kind of like have a pretty hard difficulty to them, but I mean they are still like overall they are fun games. Like they're not, the frustration really doesn't make them bad. I mean they're still overall fun games. So yeah, so I do like still think that they're pretty good games overall. Yeah. So yeah, and so far those are like all the games I do own for the Super Nintendo so far. I mean, yeah, there are still like of course like a lot more games I do want to get for the Super Nintendo. Like of course I want like the Donkey Kong Country games and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and yeah, they're really just like. Yeah, I just like there are like a lot more Super Nintendo games I want to really stock up on. Yeah, but yeah, I do like have some classics here, of course, like with Super Mario World and Super Mario Kart and Star Fox and yeah. And yeah, so I do have some classics, but yeah, I still do want like quite a lot more. Like I do want the Donkey Kong Country games and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and yeah, just a lot of the other classics on the Super Nintendo as well. But so far, I think I do have a decent library of Super Nintendo games. Yeah, just like I said with the Nintendo Entertainment System games, like if you do know of any like classic Super Nintendo games I should get for the system, comment on my channel and tell me like what other games I should get for the Super Nintendo. What are your guys' suggestions for games? Yeah. All right, so those are my Super Nintendo games so far. All right, and the last one for this part, all right, for my Sega Genesis games. Yeah. So yeah, so far for the Sega Genesis, I have like on like quite a few classics for the Sega Genesis so far, but yeah, just like I just said with Super Nintendo, there are a lot more games for the Sega Genesis I still do want. But yeah, let me just show you what I got so far. Yeah, so starting off, I have the Sonic the Hedgehog trilogy. I have Sonic 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, so of course, like, what Sega owner can really go without Sonic? I mean, he's like of course, like, he's Sega's definitive franchise. Alright, so yeah, of course, like I had to get a Sonic games for the Sega Genesis. Yeah, I did get the first two back when I did first get my Sega Genesis. Yeah, I was having some trouble finding the third one for a while, but yeah, just a few weeks ago, I finally did find it at that store. So yeah, I finally did get it. So yeah, and I am glad that I do finally have all three original Sonic the Hedgehog games. Yeah. Yeah, and as I told you, I also do have Toy Story for the Sega Genesis as well, like I do on Super Nintendo. Yeah, overall, I do would say that this is probably the better version. I mean, yeah, this just seems to like have more of an appeal to it than the Super Nintendo version does. So yeah, so overall, I would say this is probably the superior version of the two. Yeah, that's why I have Toy Story, and I also do have Aladdin on a Sega Genesis as well. I mean, yeah, this is like one of the best Sega Genesis games out there. This was one of the best-selling games, and yeah, this is a really good game as well. Just, yeah, I'm not quite exactly sure why Aladdin does have a sword in this game. But yeah, regardless, I mean, it is like uh, be- one of the reasons why this game really is so good. So yeah, Aladdin is really a classic. Yes, I can. Yeah, as I told you, I also do have the Lion King on Sega Genesis as well, like I do on the Super Nintendo. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and yeah, the second level in this one, it's just as much of a pain as it is on the Super Nintendo. But yeah, but overall, I do think that this is the better version and of the game too, mostly because of like when young Simba, when he roars, it actually does sound like a roar. While in the Super Nintendo version, when he roars, he just has a cat's meow, which is just dumb. Yeah, or yeah, regardless. Yeah, I have like Aladdin and the Lion King on Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. Well, yeah, I don't have Aladdin on Super Nintendo, but yeah, I do have Lion King, yeah, and I am like thinking about like getting like that new one that was just released for like the modern for like the current consoles just to see like it. I don't expect like the graphics to be any different, and like it's not necessarily a remake, it's just a re-release. But yeah, I don't know if like the controls will be any better for that one than they are for like Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. I'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Continuing, I do have Mortal Kombat for Sega Genesis. Of course, like if you get like the original Mortal Kombat, like this is the version that you want. You don't want the Super Nintendo version because, yeah, as I said, like there were certain titles on the NES that suffered from censorship, and this game was one of them because yeah, they censored like the bloody, gory violence that Mortal Kombat is known for. Of course, like in this version, like they do have like the blood and stuff, but yeah, you have to enter the code to like unlock it. Yeah, and that can sometimes be a pain because I've been trying to like enter the code for the blood on this game like a bunch of times, and yeah, there was just like several attempts where it just doesn't work, and I just have to like turn off and turn it back the game back on again and attempt it again. But yeah, I do eventually get it. Yeah, but yeah, regardless, yeah, this is still the better version of Mortal Kombat than it is on the Super Nintendo. So yeah, yeah, and I also do have Super Street Fighter 2 for Sega Genesis as well. Yeah, I do just for the fighting games that are released on like the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, like these two games. Yeah, I mean, I just think that the Sega Genesis is the better option to get the games on. Yeah, on yeah. So yeah, I do have like Super Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat for Sega Genesis. Yeah, I also do have NBA Jam for Sega Genesis as well. Oh yeah, I mean yeah, this is another classic too. I mean yeah, this is like one of the more popular games on the Genesis as well. So yeah, and I am glad that I do have this game as well. Yeah, and I also do have the Home Alone game on Sega Genesis. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, like if you did watch an Angry Video Game Nerd's review of the Home Alone games he did last year, yeah, they were like mostly bad, but yeah, he did say that this one is not too bad, and yeah, he's right. I mean, it's not like it is like overall like enjoyable to play, and it is a fun game. You just like lay traps throughout several houses for Harry and Marv, and just yeah, beat them down. So yeah, it is a fairly entertaining game. This version, at least, and yeah, this is probably the best Home Alone game there is. So yeah, I do have that one on Sega Genesis as well. Right? And the final game that I do have for the Sega Genesis as of right now is the Spider-Man and X-Men Arcade Revenge game. Yeah, so yeah, I did think that it was pretty cool that Spider-Man and the X-Men were actually in the game like this. I know that they did have like that crossover for like their cartoon on Fox Kids and stuff, and I do think it is pretty cool to have them in a game like this. Yeah, I mean, I do know that, of course, like Spider-Man's history with video games is just like very inconsistent because yeah, he just has had like yeah, it's always like flip flopping between like good and bad games. Or like there have been some horrible Spider-Man games like the Atari 2600 game and the Return of the Sinister Six on NES, and yeah, just like several other Spider-Man games that really are not very good. And plus, he's also had like some really good games as well, like the two PlayStation 1 games, uh, the first two games of the for the original movies, yeah, like Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, like those are real good games, as well as like of course the PS4 game. So yeah, and yeah, it just goes on and on for like both the bad and the good games. So yeah, so it's very inconsistent, but I did want to get this because I mean I just thought it was kind of cool just to have Spider-Man and X-Men and the just have them featured in a game like this together. Yeah. So yeah. So I guess like because of that, I do overall. Well, like I did want this game, and I guess I am glad that I do have it. So yeah. Yeah, and just like I said before, like there are like a lot more Sega Genesis games I do want to get as well. Like I said, I do want the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hyperstone Heist game. I also want to get Comic Zone, and yeah, just like some other games like that for Sega Genesis as well. I might like take a look at some other Sonic games that are on Sega Genesis as well. I know they have like Spinball and 3D Blast and yeah, games like that. But yeah, yeah, so yeah, there are more like Sega Genesis games I do want to get as well. So yeah, once again, like if you have any suggestions for Sega Genesis games I should get, comment on my channel and tell me. Yeah, give me your suggestions on what games I should get. All right, and so yeah, so I think so. Those are all the Sega Genesis games that I have so far. All right, and so yeah, so I guess I'll just stop it right here for part one. All right, so yeah, so those are all the NES, SNES, and Sega Genesis games I have so far. So I hope you guys did like enjoy this first part with the games I have, and yeah, like I said before, if there are any like other games for any of these three systems that you suggest I should get, comment on my channel and tell me. All right. All right, but yeah, so I guess this is it for part one of my video game collection review. All right, so next time for part two, I'll be showing you guys like my PlayStation 1 and my Nintendo 64 game collections, and I might like show you guys the Game Boy games as well. So yeah, that'll be coming up next. That in part two. All right, so stay tuned for that coming up next. All right, but yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed part one of this series. These are like my video game collection. So yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.